You know that feeling when life is constantly overwhelming, when you're barely keeping your head above water and your days just feel like a series of tasks you're scrambling to get through? If that's how you're feeling, you're definitely not alone. And I am so glad you're here today because we're going to explore how you can break free from that cycle. Welcome to the Mindful Introvert Podcast. I'm Joe, your guide from mindfulintrovert.com on a mission to inspire and empower you. As an inner peace and abundance coach, I'll help you slow down, trust your intuition, and explore spirituality for a more peaceful life. Ready to be empowered? Let's dive into today's episode and embark on your journey to self discovery and fulfillment. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into why we get stuck in survival mode, how it affects us emotionally and physically, and most importantly, I'll share my love framework, a step by step process to help you reclaim your power, shift your energy, and start living fully and not just surviving. Feeling lost or stuck, wondering what's next on your journey? Introducing Mystic Meets Oracle card readings that go beyond fortune telling. Discover the clarity, confidence, and connection you've been seeking. Each reading is a sacred experience guiding you to align with your inner wisdom and manifest your deepest desires. Whether you're facing a tough decision or simply curious about the path ahead, Mystic Meets is your key to unlocking the magic within. Ready to find your true path? Book your Mystic Meets Oracle card readings today. Your journey to self discovery starts now. Mystic Meets, where the magic of the universe meets you. Welcome back to another episode. I am so happy that you're here. And if you have been feeling this way, don't worry. We are going to explore a lot of tools, a lot of techniques and insights to help you get out of survival mode. And let's start maybe by exploring the impact of living in survival mode. Living in survival mode is extremely draining because you're always trying to keep up with everything you have to do and try to find some fulfillment in life. And you're always looking forward for the weekend. And then it's almost like, oh, it's Friday night. I can relax. I can have the whole weekend ahead. And then it comes to be Sunday and you're starting to feel that resistance and you're starting to feel that dread creep in and your heart space becomes heavy and you're like, oh my God, I cannot just enjoy my day because tomorrow I have to start another week. And it's just a vicious cycle that you cannot get out. And it becomes extremely frustrating and draining. And it really affects your own health, mental health, physical well being, and in essence, a sense of purpose. And you start to feel stuck. You start to feel like you're lacking direction because you feel like you're just living, you're just existing, and you're just existing so you can pay the bills, so you can go to work and just fulfill the role that has been given to you. Sometimes you gave yourself this role, but a lot of the times we get so caught up in everyday life that we really forget what truly fulfills us and make our existence one that is worthwhile. So it can take a massive toll over time. And when we're stuck in this survival mode, we're constantly stressed. We feel anxious about the future and we're burnt out by our daily routines. And essentially, we are disconnected from ourselves, how our body feels, and how our intentions for the day and even for the future are, because we're so fearful and we're so sometimes in autopilot that we don't really take a moment to slow down and connect to our essence and take things in a more meaningful and intentional way. So it can definitely mean that you start to lose touch with the things that truly matter to you, your passions, your dreams, and a deeper purpose and a deeper sense of purpose in life. And of course, it shows up in the body as well. That stress, that overwhelm becomes fatigue, becomes tiredness, sleeplessness, and then problems that just become too big sometimes to handle. But it doesn't have to be like this. And this episode is really going to help you to go beyond that, giving you step by step activities to start connecting with yourself more, connecting with your intuition more, and what truly, truly fulfills you and makes you feel empowered and makes you feel happy and joyful about life. So we already explore a little bit of the signs that you are living in survival mode, but let's just explore a little bit more so you can truly recognize that this is your case. So some signs is that you're constantly stressed and overwhelmed. There's this feeling of urgency and it's really hard to catch up on your breath, and you're feeling drained, you're running on empty. You can't remember the last time you truly rested and truly did something just for you, for yourself to feel happy. You're stuck in this loop of overthinking and doubting your decisions and questioning if you're good enough. And it's just so self-destroying. And there's a sense of being on autopilot, like I was mentioning, and just going through the motions, just existing, feeling really disconnected from your body. So if this is you, it's okay. Like I said, we're going to get it sorted. So one of the best tools that I found for this transformation is actually my L.O.V.E framework, L.O.V.E. And this is an holistic process that works with your mind, your body, and your energy, your soul, to help you get unstuck and start to live a life worth living and that is truly fulfilling. So let's explore some of the steps to break free from survival mode. You can use this framework to really shift out of survival mode and into that state of empowerment and alignment, like I was mentioning. So step one is let yourself feel and let go is the very first step on this framework. That's what the L stands for. Let yourself feel and let go. So whenever you're in survival mode, you are again disconnected from your body, which means that you are avoiding certain feelings and certain emotions or certain situations, avoiding pain and just pushing through, just navigating life, navigating the tasks that you need to get done in a very automatic and robotic way. But when you're constantly doing this, which can be quite beneficial for you at your work if you're meant to be multitasking, if you're meant to be just being productive and putting out results, which is just a little caveat here. I don't think that being productive is putting out results, but a lot of companies see productivity like this. But basically, you're actually storing all of that emotional baggage in your body to deal with it later. But that later never comes because then it just becomes too big of a cake to eat in one go. And it really can make you feel stuck and disconnected. So instead, I really encourage you to make space for your emotions and allow yourself to feel what's coming up, whether it's stress, frustration, or sadness. If you're being short at someone, if you're yelling at someone, if you're getting frustrated with someone, that is a big wake-up sign. I can tell you a little bit of my story when I was working at the hospital as a biomedical scientist, more towards my last few months there. Before I gave my notice, I realized that I was being extremely almost revolted and frustrated and angry at these people that I was working with. If they made a mistake, I would just flip. Even if it was internal flip, I was never rude or never externally showed the level of frustration that I was feeling, but it was all bubbling up inside. And I realized that I hadn't been like that before. And if I was feeling like this, even with people that I knew for 5 years, and if I was feeling like this, I knew that the issue was mine to solve and that I was just feeling a lot of things that were not being processed fully. So I really, really encourage you to make space for everything that needs to come up, because if you don't make that space, things will definitely still come up, but sometimes is in the form of an eruption, and that is even more just destructing than if you just allow yourself to cry or to punch a pillow or to whatever it is that you need to do to process those emotions. So you can do this processing through journaling, breath work, or even just pausing for a few minutes to breathe deeply and release some tension. The idea is that you reconnect with your body. And by feeling and releasing, you really start to clear that emotional fog that this survival mode creates. So, step number 2 is own your strengths. So, that's what O on the L.O.V.E framework stands for, is own. So, in this situation, I would say really own up to who you are, your essence, and what you're good at. So, in survival mode, we often forget our essence, like I was saying. We become focused on surviving, that we really lose sight of our inner power and our ability to be connected with the rest of the world and with a higher source of power and consciousness. But you are very strong and you're capable and you are worthy, even if at this moment you might not accept or even believe this. So take a moment to reflect on your accomplishments, your strengths, and the qualities that really make you unique. And write them down and celebrate those qualities. And the more you own up to your greatness, the more you can step into your power and shift out of the struggle. And yesterday, I had a situation where I received an email stating that this podcast that you're listening now was in the top 10 self-esteem and confidence podcasts of a list of 50 podcasts. And initially, I felt a bit suspicious because it felt like a very spammy email. So instead of clicking on the links, I went to Google and I searched that list, and there I was actually being featured as the 10th most heard and best podcast on self-esteem and confidence. But my initial reaction was to discredit me a little bit and think, oh no, they're just like spamming me, or I'm not sure. So it was a very suspicious attitude. And then the second attitude I got was, oh, I don't know, I'm just turning on my mic and saying some things that I think are right. Oh, I don't know. So it was a lot of humility as well, that I was just modesty and thinking, oh, you know what? No, it's okay. And so a lot of things happened just yesterday in that sense. But now, later that day, I said, you know what? This is good. Regardless of whatever I think in this situation, it is an accomplishment and I'm quite proud. And even sometimes just getting up from bed is an accomplishment. Sometimes, if you're dealing with a breakup, if you're dealing with a difficult situation that you're grieving and you are processing, sometimes getting up from bed and taking a shower is an accomplishment in itself. So it doesn't have to be this big thing to make you feel worthy of any success. It's really owning up to the efforts you are putting in and your essence and who you are, with kindness and compassion towards yourself. So, step number 3 is changing your vibrational energy. So, it's vibrational shift. And this is the third step of the L.O.V.E framework, is to make this vibrational shift. This is all about aligning your energy with what you want to attract in your life, okay? So it is essentially manifesting, law of attraction, whatever you want to call it. Because when you're stuck in survival mode, it's almost like you have this cyclic ideology where you think that every day is going to be like this for the rest of your life. And if you continue to think that way and do nothing towards changing that, I promise you that is exactly how you are going to feel and how you are going to navigate and experience life. So it takes power, it takes willpower, and it takes boldness and courage to change your thoughts and to actually have a lot of imagination and creativity when it comes to idealize the lifestyle you want to have, the life you want to create for yourself. So you need to raise your vibration if you want to break free. And in order to get out of the survival mode, your energy is essentially very scattered, very stressed and low. So you need to really raise that vibration. And you can start small, just achievable goals. When you accomplish something, no matter how small, celebrate it, like I mentioned before. And celebrate it in a way that is true, that is excited, and is like rewarding yourself and a pat on the back and hugging yourself, and not necessarily treating yourself to food or something, but just having that positive inner dialogue that is loving, and thinking of someone that you truly, truly love, and just really compliment them and praise them and reward them, celebrate them, and do that for yourself. And this will really help you shift that energy from stress and overwhelmed to becoming much more empowered and in a positive state. And that positive state, this is not toxic positivity, this is truly shifting how you communicate with yourself, because the quality of your life is determined by how well you communicate yourself. Can't remember who said that. I think Tony Robbins said this before. So really learn to communicate yourself very well. And just the other day, very interestingly, and I'm sorry if this is a trigger for someone, I was hearing a podcast talk about how human beings are the only species that takes their own life, that other animals are so much in the present moment and don't have the capacity to have negative inner dialogue that puts them in a very catastrophic future and a permanent situation that gives them so much pain that they don't want to live anymore in the present moment. Animals don't have that, so we do, and that's why we tend to create these scenarios in our minds that sometimes taking our own life can be almost like a relief. And so it is interesting to see it from that angle, because that can be true. So it takes a lot of power to really communicate with ourselves in a way that is loving and in a way that is flexible, not really creating a reality that is terrible and that is permanent. So yeah, I would say meditation and breath work and even affirmations. But when it comes to affirmations, you really need to believe those affirmations. So find a way to reframe the wording into something that you truly believe. And that can help you raise your frequency and attract that energy of abundance and peace that you desire. So if you eventually want more freedom, if the reality that you're in is not working for you, if you're working a 9 to 5 job that is extremely overwhelming and frustrating for you and is taking a toll on your health, your mental and your physical health, start to imagine how it will be once you're out of there. I can give you another example. When I was in my hospital work, I would be doing this task that was a little bit robotic and autopilot-y. So there I was doing it, and I would just imagine I would daydream about my last day and how it would be And a caveat to this, a very important step, is to daydream things as if it is your own decision to leave. So if you were to daydream like me about the very last day that you work in that corporation, for example, you have to really daydream about you giving in your notice and taking on your own terms to leave instead of just be told that you need to leave and be fired or dismissed. So it's important that you tailor your imagination and your daydreaming to the things that you truly want and are truly aligned with your values. So, step 4 is empower and embody your true self. That's what the E in the L.O.V.E framework stands for. So, when you're in survival mode, it's really easy to feel like you don't have control over your life. And like you're only going to work because you have to pay your bills and you have to do like this, and there's no other way. So, when you live like this, you're living without choices, and that can feel very, very exhausting, to be fair, and draining. So give yourself more choices, but you do have the power to create change. And sometimes that change is not quit and find another job. And because sometimes when you do find another job, it's all the same because it's how you're communicating with yourself and how you're feeling inside. So no matter about changing the environment, it's all going to be the same, really. And the idea is that you are truly in alignment with your values and you're able to reframe how you're thinking towards something. Instead of saying, oh, I have to pay my bills and I have to go to work to pay my bills, you can say, I chose to buy this beautiful house that I'm living, or I chose to rent this house, I chose to get out of my parents' house, or I chose to be living in this place, in this situation that I'm in right now. And I choose to continue to experience discomfort and these things that I enjoy. So I choose to make money in this way at this company and work these many hours, even if that is not fully aligned with what you want to do just yet. But by claiming back the power of choice that you're choosing to do that, you can then open up freedom for new choices and new opportunities to arise when you say, okay, I'm choosing to do this, which means that I can choose something else. And then you take chance into new opportunities. So it's very important to ask yourself, what action can I take today that feels aligned with who I truly am? And start embodying that confidence and that empowerment that you truly are meant to be and to experience. And sometimes it starts with setting boundaries and speaking up for yourself, or really going after what you really want and taking that bold action is what's going to take you away from that survival mode. But that boldness, I feel like a lot of people are struggling. They're struggling because there's a lot of fear attached to it. But I say, go with the fear. Take courage and go with the fear, because I like to think of just taking myself forward into when I'm years old. And I look back and I think, did I live a meaningful existence? And if the answer is no, I need to change something now. So if you need to go into the future and look back and be like, oh, I just worked in the same place for 40 years and I was miserable doing it and I had no ambitions, or if I did have, I felt like I couldn't take them because I had kids or I had a mortgage, or I was a bit scared, or I felt like I wasn't good enough. And do you really want to just survive and just I think you don't, because you're still here. So I know you don't want to just survive, and you want to feel inspired and motivated to take action and really feel empowered and in control of your life. So Some other tools and practices to help you break free from survival mode can be those daily practices to keep the momentum going. So, practice mindfulness every morning to really reconnect with yourself. 5 minutes is all it takes, just breathing exercises or journaling. I had the last episode was a bonus meditation. Definitely go do it. It's a 15-minute audio that you can be guided by me and just relax. Other tools can be set boundaries to protect your energy. And I teach my students to protect their energy with a visualization technique that really protects their energetic space. And so this can be something that can be very beneficial for you as well. And really learn to say no to things that drain you and yes to the things that are in alignment with your values. Another thing you can do is take more mindful breaks throughout your day to really recharge, go for a walk, stretch, or just pause and breathe and really connect with how you're feeling inside. And end your day with gratitude. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for to shift your focus from what's going wrong to what's going well. Or you can even engage your family or your significant other, whoever, your friend, can have an accountability person that you share the gratitude aspects of your day and really embrace that connection with yourself and even with them. So, just to recap, if you're stuck in survival mode, you can break free by using this love framework. Start by letting yourself feel and let go of any emotional baggage and really own your strengths. Make that vibrational shift by starting small and empower yourself to take that bold action that you know you've always wanted to take. And remember, this is a journey, and every small step forward is progress. And if you're a little bit perfectionistic like me, I know that sometimes life goes a bit slower than what we desire, but I truly trust that it needs to go like that. Everything is for a reason, and everything is presented to you at the right time when you are available to receive it. And I'd love for you to try one of these steps today and see how it feels. Just take a moment to reflect on your emotional state and think about how you can implement just one small change that will help you get out of survival mode today. And if you'd like more support or want to dive deeper into the love framework, just feel free to reach out to me on social media or check out my coaching services at mindfulintrovert.com. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Mindful Introvert. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the podcast and stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we'll definitely go dive deeper into each step of the love framework. And I'm rooting for you and this journey. Trying to scrap that. I'm rooting for you on this journey from survival to thriving. See you next time. Bye. Thank you for joining me on the Mindful Introvert Podcast. I hope you found inspiration to harmonize your mind, body, and spirit. If you're ready to explore your journey further, book a free inner peace assessment call with me at mindfulintrovert.com or use the link in the show notes. Together, we'll uncover the steps to manifest your dreams. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at the Woo Woo Scientist for daily tips and inspiration. Let's connect and continue this journey together.